Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Bobby. The name of my channel is Mindful Moments, which I never say because, I don't know, I thought about that name and I don't know. I'm trying to think if I should keep that name or not keep that name, but anyway, that is besides the point. Happy Friday to everybody. It's a beautiful day outside. It's in the 70s. Very, very nice. And I wanted to come on here yesterday on September 11th just to chit chat, and reflect. But this week, it's been a lot this week, I feel. It's been just, how can I even say it? It's opened my mind, my brain. It's opened my eyes to things that, I don't know, I should have seen, but I didn't see. It hasn't surprised me either, but it did surprise me. Just all over the place. So of course, the whole, the title of my video will have it. The whole Charlie Kirk, what happened to him. It has really made, and I know that he's in heaven. I believe wholeheartedly that is where he is. And I really even believe that this, because God knows everything. God has a plan. So, of course, if God allowed this to happen and transpire, then this is what God wanted. Plain and simple. That's just how it is. God wanted him to be on this earth, accomplish a mission, and then, all of us, when it's our time to go home, it's our time to go home. And the way that it happened with him, I'm quite sure that being that the Lord knows everything, the Lord wanted, because everything happens in life for a reason. So whether or not the Lord wanted, Charlie to come first and light that fire, or even in his death to make people open up their eyes more and see just how this life here is so short. And if you are a Christian, a true believer, a follower of Christ, you're supposed to be spreading the word just like he did, in a nice, kind way. I never saw him, be rude or disrespectful. I know that there's a lot of things going around, of course, online where people have, taken just little bits of this and this and this, and, oh, he was this, he was that. And I believe, it's nonsense. Every single race that I have saw talk about him, every age group, no matter what the case may be, everybody who actually knew him, not just people just saying falseness, online. They all said that he was just a terrific human being. He lived his life for the Lord. He loved Jesus. And for that to happen in front of his family, in front of college students, and I think the thing that makes me the saddest about it, of course, you feel sorry for his family, of course. As a Christian, we know that he's with Jesus, living in eternity. So don't want to say that, I feel bad that he's not with his family here, but he will be with his family one day, forever. So we know that that's happening. But just seeing the comments and the wow, from people who, I mean, that I wouldn't say that are my friends, not close friends. That, I use the word friends now that I'm older. I use that word very loosely. Just because you grew up with somebody, just because you work with somebody, just because you went to school with somebody, you know, they're not a friend. But of course, with the Facebook age, we got used to calling everybody friend. So they're all our friends. And just looking at social media really made me sick. I mean, I can't believe that people would be like, well, yes, he deserved it, or I don't feel sorry. I even had somebody who, I mean, we grew up together. We were best friends for years and years and years. And yes, we have grown apart because her beliefs are way different than my beliefs, the whole thing. But I really didn't think that she was that bad of a person inside. I guess, when you grow up with people and things like that, you have blinders on. But she even actually posted that she doesn't even feel sorry for his wife, because his wife knew exactly what type of horrible person he was. Things like that, I don't know. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't know how people's hearts have become so hard that you wouldn't feel bad for a human. Never mind if they're Democrat, Republican, Buddhist, Christian, whatever the case may be. There's a human being that is just talking, debating, freedom of speech, not saying any hateful words or anything like that to anybody. And for that to happen is horrible. Horrible. And I mean, I did watch him, I didn't watch him all the time, but I think I started watching him actually during COVID time, when everything was, in the lockdown. And my husband, because my husband does TikTok. I don't do TikTok, but I think he became very popular on TikTok. So my husband showed him to me. And then actually my daughter, she started sending some videos, she's like, oh, look at this, guy, he speaks the truth. And we would watch the debates and things. And he really did. He spoke truth, and he spoke it in a nice, kind way. He spoke about things, about abortion and transgender and all the things. And he would stand by the Bible, and he knew the Bible. He knew the Bible. He knew it from front to back. So most of those debate, well, I wouldn't say most, all the debate, every single debate I ever saw him in, I mean, I guess you say he wins. He won the debates because he really knew his stuff. And I think hopefully he opened the minds of so many people that he was talking to, just by giving him love and compassion, giving those people, an ear. He always acted like he was very interested in what they were saying. I never saw him put anybody down. And it's just sad, it's very sad that, and Martin Luther King Jr., same thing. And I'm sure I wasn't living during that time, but I'm sure that the feelings were the same, because he was out there preaching the Bible, preaching equality, and then boom, somebody just takes him down. But it is true, the devil does come to steal, kill, and destroy. He just does. The devil is not our friend, and he especially isn't the friend of believers. If you're acting like the devil, and not doing for the Lord, he's probably not going to bother you that much. But once you start trying to live for the Lord and doing right, that devil is going to be there every step of the way. He's going to turn friends against you. It's happened. He's going to turn family against you. It's happened. Nobody wants to, people who are not in God's ways do not want to hear it. It messes with their spirit. They don't want to be around people who are not like-minded. They hate it. And for that reason, they start to hate you, and the hate is real. I mean, you could treat them with love and kindness, but if you're not living for the world, these people are going to hate you. And Charlie Kirk, I mean, he's a martyr. He's a prime example of the hate that people will have. I just can't imagine hating somebody. I don't hate anybody, to be honest, let alone to ever want to unalive somebody just because I don't like what they say. They're not voting for the same person I'm voting for. It's just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And it just makes you kind of sad. But it also makes you want to speak more. It makes you want to stand up more, you know? I know it does, you know, that's how I feel anyway. And it makes you reevaluate yourself, because a lot of times we get caught up in work and we get caught up in everyday life, and we're not witnessing to everybody like we should, you know? We're not setting, you know, I always try to set a best example, but we could always try to set a better example. Just things like that. We could do more, you know, do more, read more scripture, because these days are getting wickeder. And is that a word? They're getting wickeder. No, that's not a word. I love to make up words. They're getting more wicked. So yeah, they are. They're just getting more wicked and more wicked. I live in North Carolina, and I didn't even know, because I try not to watch the news. I know that's bad, but I don't. And not in the next city over, there was a girl from the Ukraine that was just sitting on, I believe it was a bus, and a man came up from behind and just stabbed her in the neck and killed her in front of people who were sitting there and watched. I didn't even know it. I didn't even hear about it until, I want to say, just at the beginning of this week, I heard about it, and it had already happened like a week and a half ago. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, on social media, because, you know, that's where I usually even see anything, any new news is, you know, when I check my Facebook marketplace or something like that, I saw about the lady who stole the ball at some ball game from somebody. That was all over, and just nonsense news. But nobody was reporting that happened, and I couldn't believe that it happened right in the next city over from me. Like, what? I didn't know. And then I asked my daughter, because my daughter does watch the news. She watches it every morning. And she even said that they took a long time, even on the local news, to even report it. So when I went back, because I never really looked at Charlie Kirk's social medias or anything like that. I didn't follow him like that, but after that happened, I went back to look, and actually he was talking about that. That's one of the main stories that he was talking about before that tragic event happened. He was talking about how could this happen to this poor girl on a public bus with people watching, and why aren't people talking about it? So he was talking about that. But anyway, it is a reminder, though, to tell your loved ones, you know, that you love them. Try, if they're not with the Lord, keep on trying to get them to see the Lord. I mean, you know, in our preacher last week when we went to church, he was saying that You know, don't be afraid for people to get sick of you. He said, because if they're your family or friends, think of the alternative. You know, do you want them to pass away from this earth and not make it to heaven? I mean, I don't. I would love for all of my, people that I love to make it to heaven. So you just got to keep on talking and testifying, and really it's more about the way you live your life, because I feel like if they see a change in you, that's the best testimony that there is. I mean, there was my old preacher from where I used to live. He always used to say, I'm not what I should be. What did he say? Thank God. He said, I'm not what I should be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be. Because there has to be, if you're a believer in Christ, there has to be a transition. There has to be some type of a change in your life, or what are you doing? It's just all talk, if that's the case. It's just superficial on the outside when you're going to church and playing that role. And then if you come home and you're acting like the devil, then it's time to get your heart right. But that's really what I wanted to talk about today. My prayers just go out for his family, to give them strength, the poor wife and the 2 children. It's just so needless, and it's just so heartbreaking that would happen. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming to the channel. If you're back again, leave a comment. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Everybody is very pleasant and polite over here. There's never any drama over here, because we are just trying to make it to heaven. Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless. See you in the next one. Bye.